No, it's not superchargers. Fine, leave then. See if I care. What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 mods for new Mustang owners. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so I get questions a lot about what mods people should do to their car, primarily from new Mustang owners, people that may have never had a Mustang before, or maybe they just got an S550. They want to know which mods they should do first, and usually they're working within a budget. Not everybody can go out and blow $10,000 to $15,000 on parts. So what I have here is just my opinion on what the top 5 mods you should get are for your S550, or it could even apply to the S197 and a couple of other models of Mustangs as well. But let's get going with number 5. And at number 5 we have lowering springs. Now this serves 2 purposes. Aesthetically, it's going to get rid of that ugly gap, the wheel gap that you get from the factory. And it also improves cornering. So the car handles corners a lot better. Upgrading your sway bars would help as well, but you know, just the lowering springs alone, you're going to notice better handling from the car. I have the Eibach Pro kit on my car. There's a bunch of companies out there. Steeda makes some progressive lowering springs. You know, so I don't want to get too much into recommending brands, but my familiarity is with the Eibach Pro kit, and I have no complaints with it. It helps if you know somebody that can do the installation, because it's not that difficult of an install. You just need to have the right tools and obviously the know-how. So if you don't know somebody who knows how to help with the install, I'd recommend joining a group like my group, the S550 Society Facebook group, and you know, reaching out to see if anyone in your local area can help you with the install. It'll save you a few $100s from getting it done at an install shop. Although I would still recommend that you guys go ahead and get an alignment check after you install the lowering springs. Moving on to number 4, we're going to talk about wheels and spacers. And the reason I put wheels and spacers is because if you have the performance pack, you actually paid a little bit more for your car to get those upgraded wheels. So in that case, you can actually just use spacers. And what that's going to do is just widen them out a little bit, push them out so they're not tucked into the fender well so much. So that's definitely an option. Just make sure that you get some good spacers. And I've done a few videos on spacers, so you know, I'll throw a link in the description of this video if you want to check that out. But myself, because I didn't get the performance pack, obviously my car's an automatic, it didn't come with that option. I didn't really care for the wheels that came stock, so I went ahead and upgraded to the CDC Outlaws in 20x10, and in doing so I didn't need to use spacers. I know some people want to go for the staggered look as well. That's fine. You have a lot of different options when it comes to wheels, so just find something that suits you. So this is a mod that I put up there for 2 reasons. Number 1, like I said, aesthetically it's going to look better than the factory wheels. Number 2, it does actually offer some performance advantages. When you go with a wider wheel, you have more rubber on the road making contact, and you also have the option to go with an upgraded tire. Now, coming in at number 3, we have the oil separator. Now, I did a video on this, and the one that I would recommend getting is the JLT oil separator, because it's the easiest to install and remove. I currently have the Mishimoto oil separator on my car, but I did that mainly for the aesthetics. I like the red tube. It works, from what I can tell, just as well as the JLT, so you know, either of those are good options, but from an installation standpoint, the JLT is a winner hands down. It's a lot easier to install. It's a lot easier to empty when you need to. So that would be my recommendation. If you don't know what the oil separator does, then like I said, I did a video, but just a brief description. It prevents sludge from building up in your engine. Now at number 2, we have the exhaust. And when I say exhaust, I'm mainly talking about one thing, and that's the resonator. Getting rid of that resonator with an X or an H pipe is going to dramatically improve the sound. But rather than do that, if you have the funds available, I would say go for the full catback exhaust. There's a lot of different options out there. I don't really like making recommendations on exhausts because everyone has their own preference. So what I would say is just go out to some Cars and Coffee, some car meets, and listen to some in person if you can, because some people don't want to be heard coming from 5 miles away while others want to. You know, it's all personal preference. But I would say some exhaust work if the only thing you do is removing the resonator. S550s are pretty notorious for being too quiet from the factory, so that's definitely my number 2 option there. Okay, so this brings us to the number 1 modification that I would recommend to new Mustang owners, and it may be a bit controversial, but I'm going with the cold air intake. And the reason I say it may be a bit controversial is because if you go with the no tune required cold air intake, some people are going to say it's not worth the money to spend. In my opinion, I still think it is. I had the Airy no tune required cold air intake installed for probably about 1.5 years, I think, maybe a bit longer. But I definitely noticed a change in sound, and also the butt dyno told me that it gave me a few more horsepower. You know, you guys can debate that in the comment section, but in my opinion, aesthetically, it makes the engine bay look better. And it also provides a little more horsepower for you, although my main recommendation would be to get a cold air intake that does require a tune. And if you're buying a brand new car, you're probably going to be a little bit hesitant to do that. I really don't want to go into the whole thing about if a tune voids your warranty. The short answer is no, it doesn't automatically void your warranty. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you as to which option you go with, the no tune required or one that does require a tune. Whatever your preference is, I still think it's worth doing. So that's my top 5 mods for new Mustang owners. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you agree or disagree, you have your own top 5, I'd be interested to hear. I mean, there's so many mods out there that you can do to a Mustang that everyone's list can be a little bit different, and depending on what you're going to use the car for, I wouldn't be surprised if supercharger was number 1 on a lot of people's list. But like I said, it does come down to the amount of money you're willing to invest. So my list was geared more towards aesthetics, functionality, as well as staying within a reasonable budget. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, thank you for your support, and see you next time.